Meanwhile, Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo is in China this week. She kicked off her 4-day trip to China by meeting with Chinese officials in Beijing earlier this morning. She started the meeting by saying, quote, "It is profoundly important that we have a stable economic relationship. I believe that we can make progress if we are direct, open, and practical." Joining me right now is the Gatestone Institute Senior Fellow, Gordon Chang. He is also the author of the books, The Coming Collapse of China and The Great U.S.-China Tech War. Gordon, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. This is the third cabinet member to go to Beijing this summer. Of course, there's also John Kerry, not a cabinet member, but that's the fourth Biden person to go. What is the United States begging China for? The fact that it keeps sending people to Beijing to meet with officials there, despite them serving our Treasury Secretary with psychedelic mushrooms, despite a surveillance balloon, despite cyber activity as Anthony Blinken was getting ready for his trip, and yet we keep sending people there.
Yeah, this is really bad policy because we're not demanding a return visit from a senior Chinese official. And what it does is it makes the Chinese believe that we are supplicants to China. And that makes it harder for President Biden to accomplish his goals. Now, on one hand, you could say, well, it's good that he's not accomplishing misguided goals. But the problem here is that we're making the Chinese actually belligerent. They are engaging in activities at Second Thomas Shoal in the South China Sea and in other places that could trigger conflict. And we would be involved in that. So that's why this is really, really bad policy. Biden thinks he's sort of postponing war. He's actually accelerating it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering what specifically the United States wants from China. I mean, obviously, we're begging them for something. We keep sending cabinet members there. Do you know what they want? I know what China wants. China wants sanctions lifted. China wants to stop any pushback on imports of technology components to China. What is the U.S. begging Beijing for?
Well, there's a couple things on Secretary Raimondo's agenda. One of them is increasing tourism to the United States. But that means we'd also increase tourism to China. China is taking foreigners as hostages. So what we're doing is to encourage people to go to Disneyland. We're asking Americans to put themselves at risk in a militant state. The other thing that the secretary wants, and this is certainly something we should be asking for, actually demanding, is that China start taking deliveries of the 737 MAX. China has still refused to do that, and it really is unjustifiable. Instead of going into China and begging China to do these things, we should be imposing costs for this unjustifiable behavior. And if we do that, then maybe we have a chance of convincing Xi Jinping to do the right thing. But getting on our knees, bowing, this is just not going to work.
Yeah, I don't know what else the U.S. can do, Michael Balboni. This is all coming after all of this provocation from Communist China, undermining the United States. And I hope Gina Raimondo doesn't go out to dinner with anybody who's going to order her food and order her psychedelic mushrooms like her colleague Janet Yellen ate.
It's amazing because this did not happen today. This has been going on for years. U.S. companies being asked to get their intellectual property, give it to the Chinese state. This has been the cyber campaign to take the intellectual property of American companies. This economic warfare did not begin this year, and yet we continue to try to placate them by sending people over there. Your point is exactly right. They should be sending folks to us to say we need to have a better relationship because they're the ones who are conducting the economic warfare.
Well, Gordon, this is the reason we constantly ask whether Joe Biden is compromised, given all of the money he has reportedly taken in, him and his family, from Communist China. What should the United States policy be at this point, given all of the provocation from Communist China and their stated goals to overtake the United States as the #1 superpower?
Yeah, you know, I don't mind someone trying to overtake us. That's just normal competition. But what China is doing is it's engaging in criminal and predatory behavior, and it's trying to take down the existing international system. What we should be doing is getting our businesses off of Chinese soil. I don't care whether you call it de-risking or decoupling. The point is we need to protect ourselves because we can see what's happening. And we're not doing anything to do that. So this is the policy of the Biden administration, which is to encourage our businesses in China. That's absolutely the 100% wrong thing.
Yeah, but let's talk about what's really going on in China today, Gordon, because as much as we talk about, you know, the big bad wolf with all of these provocations from Beijing, their economy is actually weaker than a lot of people understand. So walk us through the realities of what's going on right now in China. Doesn't the Chinese economy need the U.S. more than ever right now for its own growth?
Oh, absolutely, because the Chinese economy is not only weakening, it's also failing. And we can see this from any number of different perspectives. For one thing, the country's gone into deflation, not only in the factory sector, but also consumers. That's a problem because people are not buying. They're not buying because they think that they can get things cheaper in the future. And that's especially true in the property sector, which accounts for somewhere between 25 to 30% of GDP. But we're seeing the stocks fall, big property companies defaulting, the currency weakening. This is a tragic situation. And the part of it is because Xi Jinping doesn't believe in economic prosperity. He believes in a state-controlled system. He's taking China back to Maoism. He's closing the country off. We have seen this before in Chinese history through millennia, and it always results in tragedy for the Chinese people.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know really the truth. We don't know the truth in terms of what's happening in the Chinese economy. I mean, should we be believing their economic data?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, we have actually, when you look at underlying indicators, it shows that the Chinese economy is contracting. So, for instance, imports, which I think are more important than exports right now, because imports, which have been down 10 straight months in China, show weakening demand. And the import numbers, which are actually quite frightening, they'd be worse because Xi Jinping is importing commodities, stockpiling for war. If you take that out of the equation, it shows that the economy is, at this point, contracting. And that's not what Beijing is saying. They're reporting 5% growth. That's ridiculous.
So, Gordon, real quick before you go, what is the impact of Gina Raimondo's trip to China?
She won't convince the Chinese to do anything, or at least they won't adhere to their promises. The Chinese will become much more aggressive because they see that we're vassals, or at least we think we're vassals. And so this is just, again, very bad policy on the part of the administration.
All right, we will leave it there. Gordon, good to see you as always. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Maria.